Hello and welcome, Bucs fans, Bucs haters, Brady haters. They're all one and the same at this point. Welcome to another episode of the Tampa Bay Jake Show. And today we'll be talking about the Buccaneers' 27-24 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, and the playoff picture and what to expect going into the bye week. So let's get into it. Welcome to this episode, baby. Let's talk about it. So the Kansas City Chiefs, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, just stabbed me in the heart, broke my heart, beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Ray J. So I want to get to the good, because I'm going to talk a lot about the bad because it's a loss, but I want to talk about the good before, I hurt everyone's feelings. Let's get into that. So this is a football game. It was a good game. It was a 3-point loss. That's something to be happy about. Now, I know it's crazy to think that I'm okay or happy with the 3-point loss. I'm not. I'm a fan. I want my team to win every game. I want to see TB winning a championship for TB in TB, baby. I want that. So I don't want losses. However, in my 20-plus years of watching football, I have learned when your team loses, and believe me, I know all about losing. I'm a Bucs fan. I'm a Husker fan. I know all about losing and watching a team lose. What I've learned in those 20-plus years is that there are such things as good wins, bad wins, and good losses and bad losses. There really are some things. For instance, when the Bucs only won by 2 points against the Giants on Monday Night Football, that was a good loss for the Giants because they've been on a 3-game win streak since. You know what I mean? Think about it. So yeah, this was a good loss. The Buccaneers are now 7-5. They still hold the 6th seed in the NFC. The NFC is still kind of wide open in the last 4, heading into the last month of the season. But they're still in a... Goodness, I just hit puberty. Did you hear that? Excuse me. They're still in a good place. And I'll explain more with the playoff seeding and how things have changed because of the Niners and the Rams and all that stuff, how that all changes. But, this was a good loss because, for one, this could have turned into Sunday Night Football where the New Orleans Saints are in Tampa. Could have very easily turned into that. It could have been a lot worse. 17-0 in the first quarter. And I'm sitting here, and look, I'm a fan. I want my team to win every game, right? And I know I have to always keep, using that here as preamble, but let's hear me out. Going into this game, I did not expect the Buccaneers to win. As a fan, I want them to win. I expect them to win. But as someone, again, who has watched 20-plus years of football, someone who has been a Bucs fan his whole life, someone who has to analyze this sport for one of the jobs that I have to have an honest opinion of these things. So I did not at any stretch had lofty expectations of the Kansas City Chiefs losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I did not think the Bucs were going to win this game. However, I'm glad they lost in the way they did. Because, again, if there was a Saints loss, I don't know what to make of this. This whole season I've been like, all right, I'm fine. I'm not going to lose my cool after the loss to the Rams. I'm pretty agitated with the loss to the Bears, but I'm not going to, everything's going to be fine. We're going to be okay. I would have lost it. I would have been very, very angry had this game looked like it was going to be. After that 17-0 first quarter, I expected the Bucs to lose, but I'm thinking, oh, man, don't look this bad. If you're going into a bye week, you can't look this bad. So I'm very happy that happened. I think Tom Brady, there's another thing I'm excited about and I'm happy about, good things from this loss. I think this offense is finally, just in time for the final month of the season and heading into the playoffs, finally, this team is becoming Brady's team. Finally, this offense is becoming Brady's offense. And what I mean by that is finally we're letting Brady have more input and saying, like, hey, I used this in New England. This worked for me and the Patriots. And I don't know if you know this, but I won 6 freaking Super Bowls there, so maybe we should do that. Maybe we should use my offense. And what do I mean by that? I mean that, and also Tony Romo did a great job explaining this. So when you line up on offense and you're in man, or you see the defense in man and you want to see the coverages and see if they are in man, if they're playing zone, and you send someone in motion. Romo made a great point. When they were running Leftwich and Arian style offense, none of those receivers were moving. They were all in one spot. But when they started leaning into more of Brady's kind of offense of sending people in motion and checking the coverages at the line of scrimmage rather than in the middle of the play, you see changes. That touchdown, their first touchdown drive off the big turnover where it could have been 24-0 and it was 17-0. They get the ball, they drive down, they score. They scored because they ran Brady's offense. They were sending people in motion. They were doing different things. I mean, because of the limited crowd space, you hear more on the field, right? So you heard it on Brady. You heard a hot mic of him going, alert, alert. Now, if you're not familiar with football terms, what he is saying is he came up to the line of scrimmage, he sent someone in motion, he checked the coverages, he read everything, analyzed everything pre-snap. He said, alert, alert. That means I'm calling a different play. I'm audibling out. I'm calling this play. And then, key point, he says, Gronk, go. Gronk, get out, kind of thing. That's what he's saying. When he says, you could audibly hear him say, Gronk, go. He was saying, go to the middle of the field. That's just run a streak. I'll hit you in stride because that's where the play is going to be. That's what the coverage is showing me. What do you know? He does it. Huge gain. Continues the drive. So those are good things. Those are things I'm seeing more. Now, what excites me about that is we are going into a bye week. So in that time, you have a week to say, okay, look, clearly what you were doing was working, Brady. What can we do to help you? How can we make this more accommodating to you? And I've heard people talking trash like, how accommodating can they be for Brady? He's washed. They give him Gronk. They give him Antonio Brown. They has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He's washed. He is not running his offense. He's not really in control of this team. This is Bruce Arians and Brian Leftwich's team. I think they're finally going to start giving up the reins to Brady. And that could maybe be why there's some tension, where Brady wants to do things his way and Arians wants to do his way. No risk it, no biscuit. Bruce, your quarterbacks get a ton of interceptions, especially the first year in your system. Now, there's also that thing where you're like, hey, second year, they're doing a lot better. I don't want Brady to be the risk it, no biscuit. I want Brady to be like what Drew Brees is for the Saints. Checkdowns, slants, drags, out routes, curl routes, quick, short passes where he doesn't have to chuck it down the field. And you know what? When you run those plays, when you nickel and dime them, boom, you're going to hit him right over the top. Or boom, you're going to pop a big run with Rojo. It's just going to happen. And by the way, Rojo is the running back. He's the guy. Stop pretending that Leonard Fournette has a chance to be the guy in Tampa. It is Rojo. Let him be your guy. Which, by the way, is another positive. I think Rojo had a great game. So those are positives, believe it or not. I do think, and I'm not trying to be overly optimistic fan, and I'm not trying to, take a hit of hopium, but I really do think that they are on the right track. This is a good loss. I think this is going to revitalize this team. And I think that they have a very favorable 4 games ahead of them. December is going to be good on the Buccaneers. So they're going to have the bye week this week, but then, like I said, they got the Vikings, the Falcons, Lions, and Falcons. All winnable games, all favorable. If they can work it out and get to Brady what he was doing by the end of this, how Brady finished this game. Yes, he had the 2 interceptions. The first one was that was a bad throw. The second one was bounced off a dude's helmet and was a tip drill. Maybe could have thrown it away. And there was obvious miscommunication between him and Mike Evans. But I really do think that if with Brady having the bye week and the motivation, I don't understand why Brady's washed. The man has 6 Super Bowls. This is going to motivate him. This is where Brady thrives the best, when nobody believes he can do it. Is when he thrives and shines. So I'm not worried. And I'm hopeful. Got a little Took a little hit of the hopium, and I'm feeling good. I believe in this team. I really do. I think they're going to go 4-0 to finish the season. 4-0 for December. That means that they are going to be 11-5, just like I predicted. And I could see them maybe slide into that 5th seed because it looks like the NFC is very competitive, and they might slide into a 5th seed slot. But no doubt about it, they're going to need at least to win the next 3 or 4, because at the very least, because I feel like to get in, you're going to have to win 10 games in the NFC to get into the playoffs. And I think they're very capable. They're probably going to go 4-0 for December. Now, quickly to the bad stuff, because I don't want to dwell on it. But bad stuff. First of all, Tyreek Hill is one of the better receivers in the league. I've said he's in my short list of best receivers in the NFL. I'm not going to pretend that isn't what he does, tearing up defenses. But I don't know whose idea it was. Maybe it was Todd Bowles. Maybe it was Bruce Arians. I don't know whose idea it was to put Carlton Davis mano-a-mano with Tyreek Hill, man to man with no safety help. I don't care who's playing corner. And for the record, Carlton Davis is a pretty good corner. I like Carlton Davis. I think he's a good football player. But I don't care if it's Deion Sanders on Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is going to burn him. He's going to look like a bad toaster with burnt toast. All right? It's just going to happen. So I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Todd Bowles, maybe it was Arians, whoever it was. But whoever decided to put him one-on-one with no safety help deserves to be slapped in the face. Why? Oh, why? I don't care who it is. Why do you think that's a good idea? 200 yards in the first quarter, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. 2. Ended up with 3 on the day, 270 yards receiving. And look what happened. His numbers kind of dipped down when, you put a safety on top of him. You put a safety on top of Kelsey. Both their receiving numbers went down because Mahomes was forced to throw underneath to Hardway or Edwards-Helaire or Le'Veon Bell out of the backfield. Come on. I will say this. I was very happy. Another positive thing that I didn't think I'd find in this. Positive thing. I am happy that the defense was able to get pressure on Mahomes because the Chiefs have a very good, strong offensive line. But the Bucs' ability to get some hits on him, get some pressure, make some plays, I really like that. Also, I don't know how anybody plays against Patrick Mahomes. He is a human cheat code. I don't get it. Because there's multiple times where the Bucs were chasing him down on the cusp of a sack, and then he throws a first down. Every time. But another thing with the bad, this offense can't, I was talking about how excited I am that they might be going more to Brady-style offense and let Brady call the plays more. They need to figure that out sooner than when they're down 17-0. They can't always rely on the defense to make big plays to get them back in the game. And I'm not saying that the defense isn't capable, but I'm saying in this league, you have to score points. You have to, and I know that's a silly thing to say. Clip that out. That's a dumb joke, I know. But this league is an offensive league now. And I'm not saying that the best defenses don't win championships. That's silly. Of course they do. You still need a talented defense to win in the NFL. And, it's still that cliche of defenses win championships. That's still very true. But when you're playing a guy like Mahomes and Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, you're going to notice that this is an offensive league, and they like to throw the football. And you've got to accept the fact that they're going to put points on you no matter how good you are, and you're going to also have to accept the fact that you're going to have to score. If you want to beat the Chiefs, you're going to have to score at least 30 if you want to even think about beating them. If it's most likely you're going to probably have to score 40 to beat the Chiefs. Whereas most games, most NFL teams, you could probably win by scoring, around 28, but not these guys. And they're not the outlier. There's more and more teams that are getting better and better offensively. So you can't afford to start with 3 and outs. You just can't do that. You got to be able to put up points. If the Buccaneers are seriously trying to make a deep playoff run, they have got to establish that offense quicker than being when they're down 17-0. And that's just what it is. I'm looking forward to next week being a bye week. But we'll get to that in a minute. But I think, again, all those things, I still think it was a good loss. I really do. I wish that, Tyreek Hill wasn't saying help is on the way, because that sucks. Just to see your offense get humiliated like that, or your defense get humiliated like that, I should say. But it is what it is. The Chiefs are the best team in the league. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. They're the best team in the league, and to be within 3 points and to hold them to 10 points after that horrendous first quarter, I think there's positives to be had there. All right, so before I wrap up this week's show, I want to talk about the upcoming bye week and how I think the bye week could not have come at a better time. Now, I know people might have argued that the bye week could have probably been more beneficial after the Saints drubbing. I would argue, no, this is a good time, because I think that this team is in a better headspace than they were 3 weeks ago. And I think that this is going to help do what I was talking about. I really do think that Arians, Leftwich, and Brady are going to sit down and talk about how they can run an offense similar to what he had with the Patriots, and accept that the Bruce Arians risk it no biscuit stuff isn't working with Brady. They're just clashing styles. And again, that goes back to their personalities and Brady being a meticulous, militant general during the season, and Bruce Arians being like, "Hey, let's be a little loose. Let's have a little fun. Let's not take things way too seriously, And I think that is a little bit of clash of styles, but I think that this bye week is huge, because this bye week will allow them to sit down and say, look, we got a week to figure out how we can make this better for you and more accommodating to you. And you're going to have those critics being like, well, they should be more. How could they be more accommodating? He's got Gronk. He's got AB. He's got Evans and Godwin and blah, 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 blah. They were not running what worked for him. I told you, those short routes, those drags, those slants, those are what he liked. I joked about it at the beginning of the year, and I still believe it. They even got him Scotty Miller, who's the undersized slot white guy receiver that he loves. They're going to find ways to work him in there. They're going to find ways to get Gronk the ball more, because he is a mismatch. And I think this bye week is huge for them. And it's a great way for them to just calm down, relax. Look, we are 7-5. We have a very solid chance of being 11-5. We have a very favorable December schedule. Let's get out there. Let's talk about how this works. Because, look, we might only have 4 weeks left in the season, the regular season, but we still got a playoff. And if we want to make a playoff run, we have got to get this fixed now. And I think that's going to happen in the bye week. Speaking of bye weeks, even though the Bucs are off, I'm not. I will still be here next week. I'm trying to work out an idea where I have a co-host for the Tampa Bay Jake show. It'd be Tyler Allen, who's a good friend of mine, who I've podcasted many times before. He is a Vikings fan, and that's who the Bucs play after the bye week. So we might get some saucy coverage there with him. So we'll talk about that. Yeah, it's going to be a roller coaster these last 4 games, and I am in a better headspace now than I would have been if it would have been like the Saints 38-3 skull dragging. So now that they didn't get skull dragged by the Chiefs and the Rams, I'm feeling a little bit better. And as the Rams lost the 49ers, you'll see that the NFL, it's a week-to-week league. So an updated look at the playoff picture for the Bucs. They are still the 5th seed because the Cardinals lost as well. So the Cardinals hold the 7th. The Bucs are the 5th. Now the 5th or the 6th and the 5th got flipped. The LA Rams losing to the Niners have put them in the 5th seed, and now the Seahawks are back to the 2nd seed. Now, if the Seahawks lose tonight, it might flip again. I'm not quite sure if that's how they're going to do it, but it's Saints, Seahawks, Packers, Giants, because I think Giants and Washington are tied for the division, and I think so it's Giants or the NFC East, Seahawks, Bucs, Cardinals. So we'll see. We'll see how this plans out. I still like the Buccaneers' chances. So go Bucs, right? Thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Tampa Bay Jake Show. You can follow me on Twitter at Lumberjake5150. You can follow Loud Sports at Loud Sports Pod on Twitter, Loud Sports on Facebook. You can buy merch, tpublic.com, Loud Sports, check it out, all that good stuff. And did I have a sign-off last week? I think it was just Go Bucs, wasn't it? Well, the Buccaneers ship, I remember, by the way, Paul, my co-host for Loud Sports, tweeted or texted me that the Buccaneers ship was sinking. It was a sinking ship. Well, I don't blame him. It was 17-0 in the first quarter. But hey, not sinking like you'd think. Although it does say that Brady is 1-5 against quarterbacks that had played in a Super Bowl this year, so that is a little scary. Hopefully they'll get Kyler and or the Giants or the Eagles. Go Bucs!